Namaste. We're very happy to be here to share some music with you all today. And we're going to begin with a composition by Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahab in Raag Zila Kafi. This next piece is based on Manj Khamaj and has elements of harmony and counterpoint and even folk-inspired rhythms and chord changes. So I hope you enjoy this.
With prayer I speak. With prayer I heal. With music we speak. With music we heal. Thank you, Father God. That the harmony is restored, that love is restored, faith is restored. Amen.
All right, well, we feel so blessed to be here right outside of Gallup in Pinedale, out in nature, and bringing some music and collaborating with y'all here in the Navajo Nation. We feel just so honored to be here and share this Labor Day with you all. And I'm here with Watson Billie, also known as Watts, here in the Gallup area of New Mexico. And just wanted to share with our Soul Force audience, with our music meditation medicine group. We gather every once a month on Monday evenings online, and just have you share a little bit about what you're doing using music as a healing force and creativity here in the Navajo Nation. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Rockin' Life, because this just sounds so inspiring and amazing.
Yeah, so again, like you said, my name is Watson Billie Jr. My friends and family call me Watts, so since we're now friends and family, you are welcome to call me Watts. 2016, I started an organization, more or less an initiative program for suicide awareness and prevention called Rockin' Life. And the whole motto behind that was to share how you rock in life and express you rock in life. And the whole thing about it is not just about rock and roll music. It was more or less about using music as a healing tool. Music, art, and talent, using that as a self-expression for healing, for empowerment, for motivation and encouragement for those who play music, for those who are artistic or talented in different ways. God gave us talent to use, and a lot of us, we feel pushed down, or we feel, we're not capable, or we're not good enough to portray this music, this art or talent. And the one thing that we love is to express ourselves in words that we cannot say, things that we cannot, show or do. music, art, and talent are the things that we can express for our inner self to feel love. We can feel ourselves, feeling great about ourselves, and we really feel good about ourselves. So that was to use for healing, because it all goes back to alcohol addiction, substance abuse, and depression, mental illness that I've gone through in my years of, living in this mess of living in a rut. A lot of us know when we're driving on a muddy road, we're driving in a muddy rut. We can't go left, we can't go right, and it feels like there's no way to go but down further into the mud. And, with the music, we're able to put it in four-wheel drive, flip it around and turn around. And, and one of the songs I write is Never Too Late to Turn Around. And, there's many times in my past where I felt like I wasn't good enough, and the alcohol and the drugs weren't doing it. The friends that I had at the time weren't doing it, because when the party ends and the lights turn off, you're just there by yourself, dealing with your depression, dealing with your mental illness, dealing with all the stuff that you got yourself in, the muddy rut that you're in. And I remember one of the times where I was intoxicated and sitting on a hill, there was a man talking to me and telling me, this is not the life you should be living, and turn yourself around. And that really, stuck in my heart. Like, I can still think about that. I can still feel that moment sitting on the hill talking to this person. His words, what he was saying, and even the evening, because the sun was going down, you still see the sky, the birds and whatnot. And I remember through those times, music is what got me through those tough times. Music, writing music, playing the guitar. I was fortunate enough to learn how to play the guitar and play it, where I felt, it's speaking to me. And writing those songs and playing the guitar and melodies, it really helped me through a lot of times. So the musical stuff that I created with Rock in Life was to do the same thing and bring it out to others. And bring it to different locations in the tribal communities and non-tribal communities. Find a venue and build the stage, being music. Bring the I had extra instruments so that if nobody had the instruments, they could still come up and use ours. And I would just say, this stage is yours. Come up and play something. And it was a tough, because some of the community members didn't want to play, or they felt shy, they felt like they weren't good enough, and we just gave them encouragement, tell them this is not a talent show, this is not where we're going to judge you who's good and who's not. We're all going to come together and encourage you, because you see different things that, even as a musician, I'll see someone play and I'm like, wow, why didn't I think of that? And it's like, man, this person is so artistic. Or
compare yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a dead end, yeah.
And because when you do that with others, I mean, like, you see like big musicians like Metallica, you think that they're perfect, but you can tell they make mistakes themselves. And I always tell people that making mistakes is part of life, because we pick ourselves up. So we learn the storm, we learn the strength we go through the storm, and we know that we can get out of it again. And we have the strength to get to it. And for those who are afraid to make that mistake, they're not learning anything. And I'm just saying, make those mistakes. And even when I play the guitar, I make a lot of mistakes. And I get embarrassed, and I feel that in my skin, in my bones. When I make mistakes, I can feel like everybody's watching me. But then I remember to close my eyes, let it flow, because it's not about the data coming through, it's about the heart, playing it for you, rather than being technical about the music. So a lot of times, I get embarrassed, and I get scared, and I do get shy sometimes. When I was younger, I was known for being shy. I was high school, the whole time I never talked with anybody. I was so shy. And just by learning to speak and talk and making mistakes, not saying the right words, and just learning from how I can build relationships through that. So the music part with Rock in Life was to encourage people to come out and build the stage and play whatever it was. And I would tell them, as long as it was positive expressions, because we can all make negative expressions as well, and keep going down that muddy road. And
it's easier sometimes, right?
Exactly. I mean, we could say things. Even when I was going through my time, I would say things and write music that was just going down that same destruction. And it's like, well, when we're building a foundation, we want it to be built and strong rather than built on glass, because you don't have a foundation when you do that. And so 2016, I built that initiative program and just started going from here to there. I started with Gallup, took it to Zuni, Pueblo, I took it to Shiprock, took it to Crown Point, Pine Hill, which is just different locations out to the Navajo Nation, as well as Pueblo communities and Apache locations in New Mexico.
Amazing.
And I started taking it to different locations outside of the tribal areas as well. Took it to Albuquerque, took it to Alamogordo, and the same thing. And the whole thing was about suicide awareness and prevention, showing that music can help us through these tough times. And some of us musicians, and if you guys know, being artistic and talented, we dedicate a lot of those times for those we lost, for the tough times that we've gone through. The person we used to be, the person we are now, and we celebrate life going forward. So we've lost a lot of people through our lifetimes, friends, family, and people we didn't know, but we connected with. And we build that, and we integrate them into our songs, our music. A lot of times when we play our music, we think of those, you know, and we know it's healing. With me, it's not like I play sad songs. It's more or less I play sad songs that remind me of those times, but I know that I can get out of it. Yeah. And it reminds me of those. So that's how I feel like, with Rock and Life, building music as a healing tool is one of the great things in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's such just from talking to you and hearing you now, I can see how this is such empowering people. I think for young people, and I imagine all kind of people here in New Mexico who can face the courage that it takes to go up and kind of put themselves on the line. Like you were saying, you were really shy, and now you've taken to the point where you're getting up on stage and you're encouraging others to do that for a purpose.
Exactly.
Not just, it's not just to show off, but you're bringing out people's individuality, you're bringing out people's creativity. And I really believe that we're all artists, even if we're not professional artists. We've all been endowed with that spark of creativity from the Creator. So exactly. It's something that to be able to bring that out in people, it's no wonder that people will be changed by that. People will have hope in life after having an experience like that. So
yes,
I want to encourage everyone to support Rock and Life, and really, I hope this can really grow and really touch more and more people. Tell us some of the stories of what maybe some of the people who never really got up or performed and doing stuff and really kind of facing our fears and having courage is one of the things that really obviously gives us confidence to have hope in life, to have a sense of meaning and like value, self-value and self-worth. Yeah. That I can actually get through these tough times, whatever I'm facing,
Yeah. Well, there's several stories that I can talk about. One being the idea of coming on the stage and playing, in front of people, in front of others that you don't know. And for me, I learned it was easier to play in front of people you didn't know rather than playing in front of people you did know, because they knew you. And because I was a shy guy, and I'm still a shy guy. I can still be shy, and my mind is always thinking. It's overthinking all the time. And I'm like, if I made a mistake and they know me, then they know I made a mistake. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, here it comes, and everything just crashes down. And
worry about what they're going to say.
Yeah, and I feel that spotlight on me, and I feel everybody's eyes on me and through my soul. But there was one instance where, several instances. One being, I was in Dulce, New Mexico, which is a Hickory Apache Nation up north in New Mexico. They had a reggae band playing. It was a huge reggae band, and they were playing in front of audience. Huge stage. They had a great mic system and a great speaker system. And one of the breakdowns, they were doing a reggae, riff or whatever, yeah. And without lyrics, he was saying, all right, anybody from the community, come up on stage, and if you got something to say, this the time.
While they're grooving back there.
And I could feel the weight on my legs. My body and my mind says, go for it. But my legs were so heavy. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to. But there were so many people out there. There was like about maybe 500 people out in the audience. Yeah. And I was thinking, one guy went up there and he sang. I was like, well, he was doing his thing. He was trying to sing the reggae. I can't sing reggae. So I was like, well, what am I going to do when I go up there? But it was a solid beat. It was going back and forth, you know, and I was like, I think I can probably bust the flow like a rap. So I was like, okay, and my feet were getting heavier and heavier. I was walking closer and closer. I was like, I don't know if I have time. And the guy's like, okay, nobody else? And I knew that moment was that. And my body felt so heavy, but I knew I had to get there. So I started running. I ran on stage, got up the stairs, got up behind the singer, and he's like, yeah, come up. And everybody was laughing, like, come on, yeah, let's go. And it was so scary looking out front of everybody. But as soon as I got there, I felt the love, you know, and I was like, I'm already past this wall of fear. Might as well just go for it. Yeah. So I started, you know, I have this song that I write in my head, and it goes with some beats. I'm not saying I'm a rapper or anything, but it works better with the flow. Yeah. So I started doing that, and everybody was like, yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm singing in front of everybody. And I was just like, what, you know, and I forgot what I was going to say. Then I just started freestyling, and it was working, you know, and I was like, this whole spot of being scared is gone. Yeah. I'm already here, might as well continue. And I felt sometimes the fear of the wall of fear is so thick we can't get past it. But once we do, we're like, wow, this is better than what we even thought. You know, we haven't even gotten there in our mind over things. The other part was there was this little kid. Through. Yeah, and there was this kid in 7th grade in Gallup during my 3rd annual Rockin' Life, I think, which was probably 2018 or so. And he was scared to come up on stage, but he did karaoke to country songs, and he wanted to sing. He was being a Navajo kid. I think he was Hispanic. Hispanic kid, yeah. But yeah, he was from the local school there. Yeah. And he was being bullied. And for each of my Rockin' Life events, I would bring T-shirts, kind of like this. Yeah. And you know, give them to them as an incentive to come on stage. I didn't pay him. It wasn't, you know, if anything like that. But here's a T-shirt. Yeah. Thank you for coming on stage. Yeah. And we kept encouraging him. You know, this is not a talent show. We're not trying to tell you, you know, you're good or not. Yeah. You're not going to win a prize. You know, you already won it by getting on stage. Yeah, man. So finally, he got on stage. He grabbed the microphone and he was looking down, so scared. We played a song. And he sang over it, and, you know, he was kind of like, started off shy and slow and timid and low volume. And at the middle of the song, he started getting louder and louder. And then all of a sudden, he had the microphone up, and he was singing, like, just looking up to the sky, singing. I don't remember what song he was. It was country, so I don't really listen to country, but I'm sure it was a good song. But he was really having the time of his life. He was singing away, and he says, can I sing one more song? I said, yeah. So he sang one more song, and everybody was clapping and you know, encouraging him, and you can tell he felt really good about himself. He got off stage. We got other people to come on stage and play, and then 30 minutes later, he's like, "Can I sing again?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And we made more time for him. We told the other band members, "Can we give him another 5 more minutes?" And, yeah. Came on stage, did the same thing, and then another 30 more minutes. He's like, "Can I play again?" Like, yeah, sure. And that's beautiful. That was probably the busiest Rockin' Life event I ever had, because I went up from 5:30 to 9 o'clock at the mall in Gallup. It closed at 9, so I had to tell people, you know, we're done. We're done. Yeah. Mall's closed, and I wish we could have more time, but he was really feeling the time of his life at that time, and just him getting past that wall of fear and going out and performing in front of everybody, you know, it looked like he enjoyed himself. And I think that's where it's at, you know, where we put too much in our minds about putting ourselves down.
What are people going to think of us, and how are we going to sound, and am I going to make mistakes? And but that's really how we learn and how we grow and how we become more true to who we really are, no?
Yeah, and I feel that, he was one of the ones that I can use to encourage others, because there were some adults, even my age or older, that were still shy. Like, no, I don't want to. When you come to the Navajo Nation, our culture is very timid. I mean, you'll get a table and someone will stand in front of you 2 feet away, and they'll like look at each other and you ask him, and even though I'm like, I'm right here, you can ask me, but they're not comfortable to approach you just yet. And a lot of that goes a long way from how we were taught, not to look at somebody in their eye, not approach someone because it's considered rude or it's considered, this and that. So a lot of it, the way we grow up, it's like we put that door and shut the door on us right away. And I remember when I was growing up as a kid, writing poems, that was about the true stuff about me. My parents would be like, why are you writing stuff like that? You shouldn't be writing stuff like that. And, at that time, still depression and mental illness and suicide is a stigma. It's still a stigma to this day, talking about these issues. And you're talking about real life issues about yourself. People still look at it, even in cultural wise, whether it be Native Americans or, Hispanic cultures, it's still stigma because you talk about it. It's like we're just inviting it in. We're inviting the spirit in. But we got to understand that the spirit's already in us. And it's already here. How are we going to fight it? How are we going to combat it?
Acknowledge it. And do something about it.
Because it's like we just put it behind us in the closet, and that monster's going to come out when it's dark, and we can't just keep closing that door and not talk about that door. That door, we have to open that door and chase that spirit out.
Wow.
So growing up, it was tough living that age, and I know families right now are still living that age right now, and our children are still growing up like that. And I've worked with prevention companies before as a prevention specialist, talking about making decisions, self-image, because it all starts back from when you're young, and catching them at a younger age, like a mid-school time or even later in elementary time, learning them, where's the decisions coming from? Who's making decisions for you? Is it your parents? Is it your friends? And are they good decisions? Are they bad? Are you influenced by them? Because a lot of times when you ask them, are you ready to go? And they're like, well, let me ask, am I ready to go?
Yeah.
It's like, well, are you capable of making those decisions? Because if you're not confident making those decisions, we need to find how we can break that cycle. And then the other part is self-image, where we can look through the mirror and say, I'm good enough,
Amen. Yes, brother.
Because there's times where we look in the mirror and we're, oh my gosh, I just hate how my face looks. Now we wear masks to prevent, illness, but in the past, we still wear masks back in the day just because I didn't like the way it looked. We'd be taking selfies, trying to get the right light or get it from a higher angle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to get the wrinkles out or whatnot, get it from a lower angle because you can't really see who I am. Because nowadays you go to social media, look at somebody, and it's like, well, you don't look like your profile picture, because we still can't look through the mirror nowadays.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in a mid-school talking, and some of the kids were kind of, they didn't want to listen to us. And we were talking about self-image. And it really got quiet when I started talking about self-image, because I says, how many of you grew up with parents or grandparents that told you were not good enough? And half the room raised their hands.
Wow.
And it got quiet. It even got to the point where people started crying. And I says, this is tough to talk about. And I understand why you don't want to listen to us right now, because we're talking about deep things that nobody wants to hear. And I says, we're talking about image, what you are. I can look at you right now and tell you guys are good enough. And we got to fill our gas tank with positive things rather than negative stuff, because by the end of the day, that gas tank is empty. And you don't want to deal with anything else after that.
Yes.
And that class was so, after that moment, that turned around and it really opened their eyes, because it was like, we're not just here to just point a finger at you and scold you for, making these bad decisions, but you got to understand where these decisions are coming from.
Wow.
Is it because of bad self-image?
Yep.
Then it all goes back with music, expressing yourself with music. You know, because
Yes.
music plays in languages that we don't understand just yet.
The
until you
language of the
pick it up.
heart.
Exactly. And those who don't play music, they don't understand what we're talking about
Yes.
until they learn themselves.
Well, on that note, can we let's do one of your songs?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the name of this song?
This next song, or the song that we're going to play, is called Blue Rain. And I wrote this back in 2003 or so. Well, I started working on it like 3 years prior, but finally, finished it in 2003 and went to a
Great.
studio and recorded it.
All right, let's do it.
So this is Blue Rain.
Thank